Welcome back to the Learn with Dylan podcast. Today, we're going to chat about three main topics. One is somatic work. Two is understanding yourself. And three, we'll talk about communication skills. I have Madhav here. I've just randomly, I think you reached out to me or vice versa. Yep.
Yeah.
And one thing that I said to you like this morning is I admire that you're so inquisitive that I see you just interviewing a bunch of people, learning a lot of different things. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate you having me on.
No, that's okay. So yeah, me and Matt have just spent the last 15 minutes just sort of brainstorming a few ideas and what we could speak about today. I wanted to frame this in a way where we're two sort of very inquisitive, curious, lifelong learners and just talk about what we have learnt about these three different topics. So, first of all, for people that don't know you, can you give a little bit of a background about what you do and sort of your main goal at the moment?
My name is Madhav. My passion is content creation, especially when it comes to psychology, spirituality in that mix. The big project that I'm recently been working on is making a documentary about all world religions to promote a message of peace, to promote a message of healing. But yeah, that's generally me. Day jobs in cybersecurity, do some other stuff like real estate.
Hmm.
So I like to do everything life has to offer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, as I said, that one thing I noticed about you is that you have interviewed a lot of different people, a lot of different cultures, religions, backgrounds. So one of the first topics that we will chat about is around communication skills. So of all the amount of people that you've talked to, like different cultures, different religions, what are some common patterns that you've noticed when it comes to people that are good communicators?
Yeah, so whenever I'm speaking to a stranger, you'll notice even when you do this yourself, you both of you, you're gonna have some walls up, and the other person is gonna have some walls up because both of you don't know each other. And so what I try to do when I meet someone new is try to find their inner child. What is that thing that is really deep within? Because if you could point to their inner child, they will start to be expressive and open. So if I had to give a quick example, I'm a Hindu and I've been to mosques to learn about different religions, and there I didn't know anybody. So I'm like, how do I connect with somebody that's a completely different culture? And so I just made a comment about how I found his religion beautiful, and that brought out his inner child because he felt deeply connected to that. And from there, the whole conversation was really easy because I was speaking to the inner child and not this barrier that most people have up when they start talking to a new person.
Okay. No, that's great. And there's one thing that I find we can all struggle with at times is actually connecting to your inner child. So for you to be able to just like connect straight to someone else's inner child straight away, that's great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I get nervous too when I'm doing interviews for the first time with somebody new, but that's where I try to follow my curiosity. And I'm like, I'm not here to put myself anywhere. I'm just like genuinely curious about what the other person is
Yeah.
and what their universe is. And once I let my curiosity follow, I forget about me and I just focus on the other person.
You know what's great, and this is what we're going to sort of ramble on in certain areas with this podcast, is one thing that I've learned through parts therapy. I don't know if you're aware of. Are you aware of internal family systems?
Yeah.
Yep. So my partner's a clinical psychologist. I've probably mentioned that a thousand times by now, but I just like to eavesdrop on her learning, and she's learning a bit more about internal parts therapy. And one thing that I have asked her a few times is how do you know, like we have a lot of different thoughts in our heads, going on. And when we're just experiencing life, how do we know that it is us and it's not the ego, it's not different parts of us? Because like
Mm.
we do have like a self and then we have parts around that. An internal family system talks about how we do have many parts. So we have protectors. And then we have like the more vulnerable parts, which are the exiles. So the more vulnerable parts. And like you can have all these thoughts going in your head. And it's like, how do I know it's coming from self. And she was talking about being self led. So I think there are like three C's, or that there's an amount of C's. So curiosity, if you're looking through the lens of curiosity, that is yourself. If
Mhm.
you are looking through the lens of compassion, that is yourself. That is not your ego. That is not any of your parts. That is, you are being self led.
Wow.
If you are calm, you are self led. If you are, I think, curiosity, calm, compassion, I can't remember the others. But the main point about this is because you are looking through the lens of curiosity, you know that's coming from yourself. It's not coming from like an egoic version of you.
Yeah, and the funny thing about those 3 C's that you mentioned is you're ironically not thinking about yourself, and that's when
Exactly
you're
right. Yeah.
true to yourself.
Yeah. There was a great thing. I had a communication coach on a while ago, and I remember him, I'll never forget it too, and it sort of stuck in my mind, which is great. He said, when people are being self-conscious, they're thinking about themselves too much. And now this is really hard because like we are wired to think about ourselves for our own survival. Like
Yeah.
it literally is to keep us alive. You've got to think about feeding ourselves and everything. But that really sort of put a stamp on my mind because he was saying like, because he had a mentor and the mentor said to him, you're being too self-conscious. You're actually being selfish.
Yeah.
So I found that interesting.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and I think one way that I practically try to do that is by putting myself in a range of different situations. So, like, doing taking a walk in nature versus sparring, MMA. 2 completely different situations, but those 2 very different situations tells you about yourself. Because if you're constantly only leaning to the one side, if you're, like, always walking in nature, you're not gonna find out about yourself in high stress situations, and then vice versa. So you almost have to have, like, a wide array of different experiences that you put yourself through. That's when you get that holistic understanding of who you are in those varied amount of times.
I love that. That gave me shivers, like literally. No, I really resonate with what you said. And I think that's why it is so important to ensure you are doing things that are lighting up the different parts of yourself. So there's going to be like a part of yourself that, for example, used to love doing skateboarding, and I've started skateboarding recently again. And I had a follower comment on one of my videos and saying, oh, you can see that inner child part of yourself light up when I've landed a trick. Otherwise, yeah, you become like depressed or you become sad if you're not finding outlets to embrace that part or make that part feel seen.
Yeah, totally. And one of the mistakes I have made in the past is like whenever I try to engage in a creative activity, I try to fixate on the outcome. I'm like, I want this to happen. Where I have made that mistakes, the whole creative process isn't as fun. So the ironically thing is that you have to forget about the outcome, forget everything. You just do the creative process for itself. And the
Mm.
process itself is the whole joy. That's almost like when you have that fixate on an outcome, that's like you wanting to you're thinking about yourself because you want that outcome to happen. Letting go of the outcome is another beautiful thing that I've learned recently.
Yeah. And yeah, it's all about the journey, as you said. I feel like we've sort of gone around in circles, but how do we lead this back to communication skills? So I think
But that is what communication is, right? Like it's two parties exchanging. It's like a whole flow state between two
expression.
parties.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like
no agenda.
self expression. And I like, I do believe that everyone sees life differently. Everyone sees, like, it's true, everyone sees through different filters because we've all had different upbringings. We've all experienced life in a different way. So you aren't going to see things the same way as I would see things. There's going to be
Mhm.
things that light you up that don't light me up, vice versa. So I
Yeah,
think if we're going to take this back to communication skills or make it more clear, I think it's about, as you mentioned, trying to find a way to connect to the person because communication skills is all about understanding how am I going to connect with this individual. I think that would be sort of the big takeaways, understanding everyone has different parts of themselves, and how do you connect to that part? And
Mhm.
one example is trying to connect to the inner child.
Yeah, and it's sometimes it's as simple as just giving a compliment, and that just completely disarms them
Yeah,
from the
exactly right. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any other ways. You can do something silly, I
yeah.
don't know. That's what I was thinking. Would there be any other tips that you would give around general communication skills or what you've personally learned?
Sometimes just saying the truth of what you're experiencing is a great way to go about it. So, for example, I had a lot of fear of filming in public. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go inside an elevator, crowded elevator, pull out my camera, and just talk about how I'm afraid of filming.
Great. Yeah.
And then it was so funny because like after I was done, people were like cheering for me, and I did not expect that. And it's like just because I was raw and authentic, I was just saying I'm like I'm kind of scared to do this, but I'm doing this in a crowded elevator.
Yeah.
After it
Yeah.
was, people were smiling, so it was like just like saying the truth is just so freeing sometimes.
It is. That actually reminds me of, I feel like we're just going to go all over the place on this podcast. Let's just embrace it. Anyone listening, it's just going to go all over the place. That reminds me of a time where I think I was just walking down the street. I had my phone in my hand and I was doing like a walk and talk video. And
Mhm,
I remember I was like walking past these like teenagers or something on the other side of the thing. And I could feel like my throat start to like clench up. But I knew that was just like anxiety or something trying to take over. So I pushed through it and I did the video. And I think I know we're sort of all going all over the place with the video or the podcast, but I think it's about showing your mind and your body that you can do stuff. You've got to
mhm.
push through it. You've got to push through that anxiety and you've got to do it.
Yeah, so that's a beautiful segue to what you notice in the throat, which is the body. Even just the simple awareness of having what's going on in the body in tense situations is great. So one of the things I personally have adopted is if I'm super stressed, I'm going to try to relax the most tense part of my body.
Mm.
And the reason I do that because the stress is so mental. So if you want to snap out of that, you focus on the body. What is the most tense part in my body? Let's say my stomach. Okay, I'm going to relax that. It almost kind of snaps you out of the mental stress.
Well, I feel like that would be a good way to go to our next topic, which would be around somatic work and sort of body work. So you, as you were saying, trying to trying to tense that muscle. Is that right? Like,
Relax the
oh,
most tense part.
relax the muscle. So just trying to relax that muscle, and that's going to ease everything. Yeah.
Y Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's about putting your awareness in a different part of your consciousness.
Okay. So can you give me an example, like, of when you've done that in the past?
Yeah, yeah. So, going back to the, elevator example, when I was filming, like, I'm like, "Oh, snap, I have to film," and I noticed my abdominals, like, my abs start to tense up, and I'm
Mm,
like, "I'm stressed. What's the most tenseful part of my body? My abdominals, so I'm gonna just relax that."
mm,
And suddenly it's like the pressure just relieves in the body, and suddenly that also has an effect on the mind. Most people don't know how much the body affects the mind. Like people think that mind is everything, but the body has a lot of wisdom. And if you just pay attention to your body a little bit, you'll notice a lot of times when, for example, have you seen like people that have like legs shaking all the time?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's trapped energy. That's because their mind is so active that their body is calling that body is literally calling them to pay attention to the body. That's why the leg is shaking. It's like, hey, body is saying, look, pay attention to me.
I think I actually watched one of your videos on that, and they were saying, I don't know if it was your video, but it was saying to feel more grounded, you just put your heel on the ground. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. See, I do watch. Okay. So, yeah, we're talking about communication skills, and we're on to somatic work. I just had a bit of a brain fart then. Um, One of the things that you spoke about is just your breath work and how you do that. So, one thing that I like to try and incorporate is humming. So, humming is really good for your vagus nerve. It helps relax your body. So, like just doing a simple drill where you breathe in through your nose. So, and then you just hum. You hum it all the way out, and then you breathe in slowly again through your nose, and then you just fully let go. And it just come back to me. So what I was going to say is when you were talking about letting go of the stomach, you're just practicing the art of letting go. That's it.
Yeah.
Radical acceptance, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, the humming, there have been, at least in the Indian culture, the way that they do it is like they close their ears and then the eyes too.
Okay.
So it's like to shut down the sound, to shut down the visual aspect.
Mm,
So it's like complete darkness. And then when you hum, it's like sometimes even more powerful because you have less input into your senses. So you pay more attention to the humming, to the vibration
mm.
everywhere.
Yeah.
It's called Brahmri in the
Okay.
Indian.
Okay.
Yeah. At
Look into
another
that.
podcast, guest explained that. So it's so beautiful that you
Oh
brought it
yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. No. No. There's a guy called I think he's David Fisher or Fisher. He was actually a celebrity. He was an actor. He's a full spiritual guy now, and he talks about the power of humming, the power of your breath. So a lot of people are just unregulated. So they have an unregulated nervous system, and they're trying to fix their problems with an unregulated nervous system. The first thing that they know to work on is just being more calm and connecting with your inner child as well. And one way you can do that is just by breathing or bringing awareness to your breath, just slowly. That's it. It's like what Eckhart Tolle talks about too. It's like, it's all about the power of now, just coming back to the breath.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes I find like just focusing on the breath kind of boring. So what I've learned is like if I'm driving, turn down the music. Don't listen
Mm.
to music. Hold down the windows and listen to the cars.
Mm.
Don't have my phone when I go to the bathroom, for example. People have that
Yeah,
bad habit.
I honestly, that's one thing that I want to work on this year is just like my phone usage is just
Yeah.
bad. Like,
Yeah.
I
It's
feel
like
like everyone is too.
yeah, I don't know if you saw the image. There's an artist that took a bunch of images of people on
Mm,
their phones, and then he just photoshopped the phones out. And so it looks like people are just dead zombies looking at their hand.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not good. That's why one thing I'd like to encourage people, if you're listening to this, is to find hobbies. Like, find things that you used to love. Like, I've recently started to skateboard again. I used to skate when I was like 17, and that's all I did. It was like my first passion. And I started to document it online. I think I'm on up to day 10 of like learning how to skateboard at 32 again. And it definitely has sort of lit up that inner child part of myself. It just brings me joy. I think it's good just doing something that challenges you, and it brings you to the present.
Yeah. Which is
One
part of it.
100%. So like a few things I would encourage people to do is one, trying to find a hobby or an outlet that gets you off your phone. Two, trying to find a hobby or an outlet that makes you more present and gets you out of your head. So I've personally found, because I go to the gym, I do jujitsu, I skateboard. I've personally found when I'm at the gym, I'm stuck on my head all the time. Unfortunately, I don't know what it is. So like some people they love going to the gym. I still like going to the gym. I still love training, but I'm just stuck in my head all the time when I'm at the gym. When I'm at jujitsu, I can't be stuck in my head because I'm getting choked out or I'm getting armbarred
Mm.
or someone's about to break my ankle. So I do find jujitsu is really good at making you present, and it really is good for your overall body awareness. Obviously, like you've got to think what moves you're doing, but I do find there's just something about, um, it's like letting your body be the main player in jiu-jitsu. It's like you're just doing stuff and you're like,
Mm.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing stuff. It's like that body intelligence we've
Yeah.
spoken about before. And then there's skateboarding,
Yeah, yeah.
which
It's just
also makes you present. So if you're going to do somatic work,
because you can't think.
Yeah,
Pouring through it.
exactly right. So if we're trying to bring this back to somatic work or body work, is find physical outlets that bring you joy, that get you out of your heads. Like that's simple. That could be basketball, that could be cricket, that could be running, that could be swimming. And that will help your body and your mind.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know about the three brain centers for somatic practices? So this is
Like,
something I learned. The first is the thinking mind, which we're all just
okay,
about.
yeah, yeah,
Then there's the heart. The heart is actually has another brain center. There's, I think, more neurons in the heart than there are in the brain,
yeah.
something like that.
I have learned that actually. Yeah,
Yeah, and then there's the last one, which is the gut, and that's where
yeah,
your intuition.
yes,
Most of them are just right here. But there's other two brain centers that we could lock into, and that's gonna actually have much more, add much more richness, creativity, flow to life than just this thinking.
100%. Yeah, that's one thing that I've, I guess, struggled with in the past is like learning what my intuition is. I think you've actually interviewed someone. I have watched a few of your videos, and you were talking to a lady, and you were asking her, "How do you know when your intuition is speaking?" What did she say to you?
Her assessment was that it's it's a very soft voice. It's not a voice that's going to scream. That it's not an angry voice. It's a soft nudge. It's meant to trying to tell you where to go. And the way that you connect with that is first quieting this part of your brain center. One exercise she said is, can you sit still and look at a wall for an hour? Just stare
Really?
at it.
Wow.
Because what happens, I've tried that, is the first 10 minutes are so hard because a lot of things that we just push down start to come up. Then the boredom kicks in. And after you get used to the boredom, that is when you really get in touch with that silent voice. That silent voice is your intuition. It's your
Yeah.
conscious.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that'll tell you where you want to go next in life, something that you wanting the answers to. It's all there. It's just you just gotta quiet down a little bit.
Wow. I have seen a few videos online with guys doing that. Have you seen that? They call it raw dogging, like 1 hour attention span something. And they're
Yeah, yeah.
getting a lot of traction.
Yeah. I was thinking about doing the same on video, but it does work. It does
You
work.
should. Yeah. Give it a go. You should start a document journey where it's like day one of doing this, day two, day three. I
Yeah.
find they get a lot of engagement, a lot of traction, like that sort of video reel.
Yeah. I'll try that. Yeah.
And I think the final one we can talk about. So we've spoken a bit about communication skills, a bit about somatic work. I know I apologize. I feel like we have sort of gone all over the place. We try to come back to things. Was there one more that you wanted to speak on a little bit more?
I did want to make one more point about somatic breath work.
Yeah, of course.
So somatics is all around the idea that when you have trauma, it's stored literally in the physical body. It's documented in the book called "The Body Keeps the Score" by Dr. Cole.
I've read it. Yeah.
Beautiful book. So
Very deep.
yeah, very deep. One of the practice that really helped me was somatic breath work. And in those sessions, what you do is you do a breath of fire, which means you agitate the nervous system. When you agitate something, a lot of things are going to come up. And then once that happens, you have to release it. That release could be crying, could be yelling, could be anything that just puts it out there. Like just release it. And honestly, it's been one of the biggest game changers I've done. It helped me get out of my shell in many different ways. It's just like after that session, I remember one in particular, it felt like a lot, like a huge load had been lifted off just because I pushed it out there. So if you're in your head, very analytical thinking person like me, work in cybersecurity, pursuing a different type of therapy, somatic therapy is off the charts. Highly recommend.
So did you go somewhere to do that? Just out of curiosity? So you have
I
like a somatic like coach or something?
um, not a, I didn't hire a coach, but there was like little events
Okay.
here,
How like would it be like an hour session or how long?
about an hour and a half.
Okay. It's interesting. I have wanted to look into somatic work more. So just, yeah, I'll put the feelers out there and I'll see what happens.
Yeah, you spoke about internal family systems as well. Another somatic practice I haven't done personally, which is that you have you and then you have another person. And let's say that person could be your mom, could be your dad, whoever. And then you get to yell at that other person and express everything that you might not have been able to with the
Mm,
actual person. So there's many different somatic ways that you can go
mm.
about it. Dancing is another one. I was always afraid to dance. I was never able to dance because I was so in my head. Here I'm like, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna go out in public and dance in front of everybody. And so that was another one of these somatic practices.
Oh, that's great. I think it's good to like set challenges like that. Like, oh, I'm gonna do like public speaking, or I'm gonna go do a dance class.
Yeah,
I haven't done a dance class before. I don't know. Maybe in the future I'll learn
yeah,
salsa or break dancing or something. That'll be hilarious.
yeah. Break. Oh, I can see you do break dance,
Yeah,
skateboard.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Well, one of the things I actually forgot we were gonna touch on quickly is just around fixing yourself.
Yeah.
I think that was we can talk about that for a little bit. So it's one thing that I think you suggested is just
Mhm.
talking about the self development world and how it's like, oh, you got to fix yourself, blah blah blah, and it's like that is basically saying to your mind, I'm broken. I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah. Yes. In the self improvement industry, the word improvement does a lot of heavy lifting. Like, what are you improving from? Why do you need to improve? I mean, self improvement is great, but at a certain level, the other counterpart of that, which is self expression,
Mm,
you're paying attention to. And that was the mistake I was making. Like, I always had this inner feeling that I'm missing something, that I'm not enough. And then
mm,
that's why I need to go to the gym more, make more money, or just get better at something. But then what part I was neglecting is the self expression part.
mm,
I think speaking to a man, I think that's a very male thing to do, right? I need to improve self-improvement. But the inner feminine, which is the expressive part of any human,
mm,
that also needs to blossom and cherish. And that's where you actually really find your purpose or your true calling in life through that self-expression.
mm. I love that. And I really love that you mentioned self expression. I do
Yeah.
find with content creating in particular is a really great way to express yourself.
Yeah.
And I find sort of going back to martial arts and jujitsu, it's really, especially for men, obviously for women as well. It's just so important for us to find outlets to express ourselves.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're bottling it up. And
Mm.
that can lead to things like depression, anxiety, blah, blah, blah. So I'm a big believer if more men or just people in particular did martial arts or did something where they're expressing themselves more, they're going to have a healthier mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
I feel like it
I've
feels great too. Like it genuinely feels great when you are like expressing yourself, you are putting yourself out online and you're being genuine and authentic in what you're like. I do food reviews. I love doing that stuff. I
Yeah.
feel like it's so healthy for you.
It is. And I don't know if you've heard the quote, the cave that you fear to enter the most holds the treasure that you want.
I have heard that, yeah. But it's a good reminder.
Yeah, so and this ties back to self-expression because a lot of places where you get your most growth through self-expression is in the parts that you were afraid to express. So if you're afraid of singing, sing and show it to the world. If
Mm,
you're afraid of moving your body, move your body in the most awkward way that you think it is awkward and show it to the world. Through that when you engage with fear, not like out of anger or anything, like you're like having fun. Like it's almost like a jujitsu rolling, right?
mm.
Can't be, like, too tight, but you also
No.
can't be it's like a
Yeah.
whole flow, and when you do this
100%.
here, your self-expression just it's like, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. It's like you're walking through the world, yeah,
Yeah,
like you're doing things with more ease rather than like tensing up and being like, "Oh, I've got to perform perfectly." It's just like letting things letting things be as they're going to be. Oh, one last thing I'd love to love to say is I heard this saying one time, and I think it's such a great saying to, I don't know, live by, but it's just like, let the chips fall where they're going to fall.
Mhm.
I think
Because they're
that's
gonna
such
they're
like
gonna
it
fall.
because like you could be freaking out about this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And it's just like, let the chips fall where they're going to fall.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's almost like a radical
Acceptance.
confidence where it's
Yeah,
like, everything's just gonna work out to my favor.
exactly right.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that.
The control the need for control is almost an insecurity.
It is 100%. We
Yeah.
all struggle with it though. We all do.
Sometimes you have to learn the lessons the hard way.
That's it. All right, Madhav. I feel like we've had a bit of a good conversation. I feel like we've rambled on different areas, but I'm sure there's valuable bits here and there. So I appreciate everyone who's listened to this podcast. And if anyone wants to reach out to you, where would they reach out to you?
I'm on Instagram, The
Yep.
Fire of Knowing.
Okay. Awesome. I do notice you have a website as well. So go check that out.
Yeah,
Awesome.
fireofknowing.
All right, guys. We'll leave it there. And yeah, we'll catch you next time.